All right, let's try that again. It is still July 26th. I'm still walking around the lake, but I fixed my little data problem there, I hope. So off we go. The other thing I'm doing today is using my old gimbal. My fancy new one that I've been using, I have to hold a button down on it. So I'm going to look at my old one and see if I was silly in replacing it in the first place. It's lighter, makes it more comfortable to carry, and I don't have to hold that button down, so we'll see how it goes. It's 18 degrees today, so a comfortable morning. Oh, there are always big sunflowers right there. And this year's no exception. Now, hopefully I got enough power in the gimbal. It hasn't been charged for a while, but it's showing 3 lights, so I think it's okay. So far, I'm liking it better than the new one that I've been using. That has been causing me problems, so maybe I never should have bought a new one. I was excited when I got it. But here it is making problems for me. Whereas this old one, of course, the reason I replaced this one was that I thought it was not doing a very good job of smoothing things. I thought it was jerky. So I'll be interested to see what the video looks like. Right now it looks smooth as far as I can see on the screen. I've got a million publishing things to work on when I get back. It's just never ending. And I'm falling behind, which is concerning. I don't want to have to delay publication dates, but if I must, I will, of course, because if I must, I must. We're trying to avoid that. Anything else exciting? Went for a fish fry last night. That was good. Fresh fish. Beautifully fried. It's delicious. Still can't go under, of course, the underpass here under the bridge, as was my wont. So now I have to use the light, which is always a bit of a delay at this corner. I haven't been around the lake for a bit, so get a chance to get a look at how the gardens are progressing in front of the legislative building. Should have worn my sunglasses, but forgot. Yeah, I had to top up my full speed data here. Every once in a while it runs out before I get to my next billing cycle, and that's when my live streaming, I'm suddenly not getting enough bandwidth. So I topped it up. Hopefully it lasts. Albert Street Bridge. There's the legislative building over there where we're heading momentarily. Canadian flags flying on the bridge right now, since Canada Day was just 3 weeks ago? A little more than 3 weeks ago. Summer's going by fast. Sure, it's hot now, but within a month we could be looking at possible frost. 6 weeks. Shouldn't exaggerate. It's looking quite pleasant today. It's only going to 26 as opposed to 33 or 34. It always seems to take forever for them to change this light. And sometimes you can jaywalk, but most of the time you can't. You can do it now, though, so We will. It still hasn't changed, so good choice. Probably see lots of people walking around the lake this morning. Here's the infamous sinkhole, to which nothing different has been done this year as far as I can tell. It's becoming a permanent fixture of the park, but certainly not its most attractive one. Apparently it was a water line collapse or something like that that caused it. Okay, first highlight is, of course, the bridge and the dam that makes the lake. Oh. The people over there had their backyard had to be dug out too because of the sinkhole. So yeah, here's the dam on Wascana Creek that makes the lake. Sometimes you can see pelicans down there. We'll see. I don't see any yet. No pelicans on the rocks. I would imagine the gardens are pretty much in full bloom right now, but we'll know in a minute. There's always geese over there, but for some reason there's a lot of gulls sitting around with the geese. On top of the hill. Gulls, geese and gulls together. Oh, it's so nice temperature-wise compared to the last couple of days, or week, or however long it's been hot. It's getting hot again pretty quick, but today's going to be lovely. But yeah, it's back into the 30s before long. There's one dog. There's two little dogs over there. Warm enough in the sun. The air is cool. Cooler than it has been. I'll still work up a sweat. Don't worry about that. Right, let's check out the ornamental gardens here in front of the Legislative Building, which you can see right down there. There's Walter Scott there holding up the plans for the Legislative Building. then a nice view right up the garden with the Queen statue down there. Queen Elizabeth II. Probably get better yet. Some of them probably weren't planted all that long ago. They usually get about the peak, about the time that the first frost hits. These tall ones in the middle. Yeah, they still got a ways to go. July's almost over, but haven't reached the peak yet. And there is Her Majesty Elizabeth II on her horse that was from Saskatchewan. There's the whole building. Hopefully the Trafalgar Fountain is going this morning. I think it was the last time I was down this way, but hopefully today. But if not, not. Always looks good from this side because in the mornings, because this is where the sunlight is from. More geese. Canada geese. There was a time when there were no geese in Wascana Centre. I wrote a book about it, a little picture book that's at the Saskatchewan Science Centre, at least it was. So far I'm liking this gimbal better than the new one, now that I've gone back to it. Probably be a little straighter on the horizon, but that's a problem they all share. It's hard to get it perfectly level. And oh, the fountain's going, so we'll definitely go down by the fountain today, instead of by the tennis court, which I think I did last time I came this way. Some more landscaping along here. That car parked right there rather spoils the view of the fountain, but probably not really supposed to park across that because it's the handicapped access. Yeah, it's a little, it says it says no parking, but it is a Wascana Centre vehicle, so maybe they get a pass. Oh, there's a sail. Oh, no, it's not. For a minute, I thought I saw a sailboat out there, which is a rare sight. But it's not. It's the fountain on the other side of the lake showing up in the sun. Looked like a sail. So here's the Trafalgar Fountain. Which did once indeed, I believe, stand in Trafalgar Square, London. Sunnier from this side. And of course, as you come on around, it lines up with the legislative building down there. Very nice. You look straight across over there, there's another fountain. That one's ornamental, but also practical in that it aerates the the lake. We'll be walking by it in about 20 minutes when I get to the other side of the lake. And off we go on the east shore here. The building over there is an apartment building, Roberts Plaza. You can see the Center of the Arts over there, or the Connexus Arts Center it's called these days. Used to be the Saskatchewan Center of the Arts. Lots of little views along here where the trees are cleared away, so you can see. Probably go on Pine Island today, see if we can walk under the waterfall, but I think they quit letting people do that. And there's also benches where you can sit and enjoy looking at the lake. Squirrel. I can hear tennis happening over there. Tennis court's just the other side of those bushes. More geese coming up. A Holodomor memorial over here to the Russian genocide of Ukrainians in the early 20th century under Stalin. Saskatchewan legislature was the first to recognize that as a genocide. That's the monument there. We have a large Ukrainian population in Saskatchewan. Lots of people taking advantage of the cool morning air to walk around the lake or jog around the lake, depending on their preference. I don't quite know why she's buttoned up like a cocoon, but her choice. Occasionally you see people wearing masks outside. It never made sense even at the height of the pandemic, and it certainly doesn't now. Masks don't work. Little secret I like to spread the news on. You got geese, you got scooters. Come in flocks here in Wascana Center. Here comes a big dog. That's just kind of a pump station. There's another outflow down there that puts water into the lake. Guess we'll go out on Pine Island today, since the waterfall is running over there. Places to picnic back in the trees. A few statues and things back in there. I've gone by them before, but won't today. Including the totem pole comes up here shortly. I've gone by it many times. More picnic area over there. And the totem pole is right there. See it from the back on this side. More geese. That's not a goose. That's a bicycle. It made it sound like a goose. But it wasn't a goose.
She doesn't.
Over here, quick view of Spruce Island, which is the one right over there, which is, like, doesn't have any picnic areas or anything on it. Nice view of downtown over there, too. Oh, there's a pelican. Pelicans came back to Wascana Lake after it was deepened in 2005, I guess it was. 2003. Because once it was deepened, fish could overwinter in it. Before that, it froze solid and fish couldn't overwinter. But once they deepened it to about 9 meters, I think, at the deepest, which is pretty deep. I was actually watching something yesterday. They were talking about how, I think it was in the 19th century, early 20th, that a lake had been deepened to accommodate iron ore carriers. And I thought it would need to be deeper than it was. But the depth they needed to get it to was only 22 feet. So 9 meters would allow us to float a iron ore ship out in Wascana Lake, or at least one of that era. Maybe not a modern one. However, you'd have a heck of a time getting it in there, since it wouldn't go into the bridge. Nobody has said so much as hello this morning. I'm still getting a few dropouts on our internet connection warnings. That's because of the trees blocking the signal. So I don't know how bad this is buffering. If I feel ambitious, I will upload the version that will save to the phone at the end of this so that there's no gaps in it. So it's possible if you are watching this, that's what I've done, and you're not seeing any buffering. But if you're watching the live version, you probably are right about now. I may not have heard a word I just said. I don't know. As I said, nobody has said boo to me this morning on here, so don't know if anybody's watching or not. I can't see the little numbers to see. It shows me a little YouTube symbol, a little Facebook symbol to show how many are watching on each platform. I could send it to Twitch, but that seems silly. It's not really what Twitch is about. I'd live stream it to X, but the software doesn't let you do that easily. Same with Instagram. You have to put in special stream stuff, and it just doesn't seem worth the trouble, and I'm not even sure it would work. The only time I tried it, it didn't work, so. If you're counting joggers, that's about 4 at this point. 2 or 3 bicyclists, tons of walkers, a few dogs, lots of geese. Oh, there goes another biker. Oh, rollerblades aren't on my bingo card. Obviously they should be, but rare. I don't see those very often. It's not the 80s. I didn't know anybody still rollerbladed. It looked dangerous to me, but then I'm not a good skater, so. Plane coming in. Oh, up there. Prop plane, probably WestJet. Coming from the east. Well, I don't know if they came from the east. They may have just had to circle around to land. Yeah, I figured as we go down here, we'll get more buffering because of the bushes. And another dog. not because of the bushes, although I'm sure he makes use of them. Yeah, I think I'll upload this one today once I get home. So if you're watching the recording, you will have had a choice of choosing the recording of the live version or the one that I'm going to upload. If you're watching the uploaded one, there'll be no buffering. If you're watching the live one, it's probably buffering right now. Downtown. I just say the building again. And Surveyor's Monument. I wrote their history book 20 years ago almost now. Probably was 20 years ago I was writing it. Close anyway. We'll just take a turn out on Pine Island here over the bridge. Let's take a look at the waterfall, which is also an aeration function or feature to put oxygen in the water. Seems with this one, I do have to keep adjusting it a little bit more. This gimbal, I'd forgotten that. So that's the other one doesn't seem to need it as much. So yeah, this bridge is set up so you look down it and you see the legislative building at the end of it. This one is used for rowing tournaments and things like that. When the Canada Summer Games were here, 2005, just after the lake had been deepened in 2003. This is the timing booth up here, I guess, for looking over competitions on the lake. There's usually a lot of geese here, but they don't seem to be here today for some reason. I don't know how they decide where to be. Now, I suspect you are no longer allowed to go under the waterfall because it's been blocked off the last few times I've looked. You used to be able to walk under it. I don't know if somebody decided it was you'll get sued if somebody slipped, or I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it's still blocked. I can see the cord right there. I mean, you could easily enough go over top of that, but you're not supposed to. Which is a shame because, I mean, you get wet. I don't particularly want to go under right now where it looks like I'd get wet, but you used to be able to. And there's that nice little view thing there that you're not allowed to go on anymore. And I can only think it's because of liability concerns. Well, that being the case, we will go up here. Say hello to the pigeon. Hello, pigeons. Oh, goodbye, pigeons. And then up here, at least you get a view of the top of the waterfall with garbage floating on it. It's charming. That's the marina. We'll be over there shortly. And looking back that way, you see the white bump is Mosaic Stadium. And my house is basically almost directly lined up with the little, from here, we line up almost directly with the cathedral spires there. You can see why it's called Pine Island. Artificial island. Like everything in the lake is artificial. Since it's a man-made lake. Been there a long time though, 100 years, well over 100 years the lake has been there now. It's been deepened twice. Supposed to be good currently for a few more decades before they'll probably have to deepen it again. It can't help but silt up because there's not enough outflow. So silt comes in, it's got nowhere to go to the bottom of the lake. Okay, back to the bridge. Or bad connection warning. That's the Broad Street Bridge. That'll be the next one to go over. Popular parking lot for accessing the lake. Those who, unlike me, don't live close enough to just walk to it. There's Pine Island again. Fifth or sixth dog. More lake. Hopefully I haven't stepped in too much goose poop. Try to avoid it, but I'm looking up and looking at the screen, so I'm not always looking at my feet. So a long way to go, though. It'll wear off if I stepped in any. Always geese down there and other birds, gulls, ducks often. Ducks you usually see in the water, less often on the shore. Everybody looking very peaceful down there. Apparently geese and gulls don't have any problems with each other. Probably signed a treaty a long time ago. The great geese-gull wars of 1347, put to rest by the famous. Treaty of Wascana. Not that the lake existed then, but the geese, well, I don't know if there were any geese around or not. This had just been a creek, so there wouldn't have been many of them. Over the lake, at the ledge again. See the waterfall over there now on Pine Island where we were. Broad Street Bridge to my right. If you go under that and keep going, you'll end up at the university eventually. Another look at the lake from up here. And the next highlight will be the marina right over there. The other popular parking lot for lake access coming up. Well, there's a better look at the waterfall on Pine Island back over there. Pretty small because this is at a fairly wide angle. All right, now we go down by the marina. And the Bar Willow just has the nicest deck in town because it overlooks the lake. Another dog. Dragon boats all lined up. There's usually a dragon boat festival in September. Didn't happen during COVID, of course. But they look like they're set for it. Apparently there's a tomato festival coming up at the Bar Farmers Market. This is Bar Willow. That's what I got that confused with. Up there. With their lovely deck overlooking the lake. Covered, so even if it's raining, you can sit out there. Or you can sit out in the open air if the weather's nice. Fortunately, well, we were at an outdoor event last night. Wasp season is kicking in. Wasps always show up when you eat outdoors in August and July, apparently. There's a dragon boat over there. A couple of them. Playground. Canada Games Wascana Lake Center. Rowing clubs. Rental boats, all that kind of stuff along here. They often have kids rowing camps, and perhaps there'll be one later today. It's all Wascana Racing Canoe Club in there. So we're now going down the east side of the lake. I may have said east side when I was on the west side. I often get those directions mixed up. I don't know why. I know them, but if I'm not thinking, I'll often refer to the west as the east, or the east to the west around here. Of course, the old Air Force buildings that we had an apartment in Weyburn, when Western Christian College was there out at the airport. We're sitting at an angle because of prevailing winds. So north was in a corner of the apartment, not one of the walls. Maybe that's messed me up ever since, I don't know. Coming through, geese. Next bridge, which will give us a good view of the aeration fountain over here. Looks a bit like a geyser, but it's not. We're a long way from Yellowstone. In a very, very not seismically active area. It's not to say there haven't been tremors, but nothing serious. There's the aeration fountain. You can see that I mistook for a sail from the other side of the lake. And over there you can see the Trafalgar Fountain. It doesn't quite line up with this. It lines up with that viewing platform up there. So right about there, you're looking straight past the fountain to the ledge. Downtown. So about 2/3 of the way now. I would expect it to be about 20 minutes home from here. Maybe 25, probably 20. Not the same as walking from downtown to home or vice versa. Which is why I have so many 20-minute walks. When I don't have a car, like now, I can't go anywhere to do walks, or only rarely. So all my walks start from home base, and that limits a bit where I can go. I'll have a car by the end. At the end of September, it'll all be mine. My daughter goes off back to university, so then I'll be able to go maybe a few more interesting places. Even then, though, I don't want to spend too much of my time walking when I got so much to do. So there's HMCS Queen. Which I've been working on quite a bit. It's a landlocked ship. It's where the naval cadets hang out. There's one in Saskatchewan called HMCS Unicorn. His Majesty's Canadian ship. Again, right that away is home. So breeze is very nice, cooling off the lake right now. Yeah, they did all the windows over there last year. I don't know what they're doing now. A lot of dirt piled up out front. I wonder if they dug out the basement or what. I do like that breeze at the moment. So Willow Island is the next feature that comes up here. That's it over there. That's where they launched the fireworks from. If you go back, you can see my Canada Day fireworks. Set off from here, and the guy that does it actually thanks me for recording it because it helps him as he designs the next year's. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there. We're scenic on this side. I've seen a lot of leaves on the ground, which is a little, no, not yet. You keep your leaves on. Time enough for that in about, 2 months. And about 2 months, many of them will be down. They'll still be falling. I know because we're 2 months from our 27th wedding anniversary, and our pictures were taken outside on the golf course. And there were leaves on the trees, but also leaves on the ground, made for really lovely pictures. Haven't changed a bit, except for being younger in those pictures than I have now. Still have hair. Perhaps a bit more gray than it had been. I'm not completely gray, but in certain light I look pretty gray. Again, Willow Island. I'll have a choice up here if I continue along the lake or if I go up and walk by the pool. The pool, which keeps closing for mechanical problems. Seems like almost every day they say they've had to close because of a mechanical issue. People are starting to complain. People will always complain. And I only see some of the notices, so there might be more. May have happened more than I'm aware of. So if you're driving through the park, it's right along that road. There's another little viewpoint up here that maybe I'll take today. So I've been up there for a little bit. Get a nice look at the lake. Up here. Also, if you're going to rent the island, there's a landing stage just below this is where you get a boat and go over to the landing stage over there, and you can picnic on the island. There's picnic tables and shelters back behind the trees. And of course, as I always point out, this is where, right down there, is where my Shards of Excalibur young adult series starts. When the Lady of the Lake shows up in that patch of water between the North Shore and Willow Island. There's a Willow Island ferry if you're going over there. Another popular parking lot, which plays an important role in the aforementioned Shards of Excalibur, Song of the Sword, the first book. There's a very important scene. It happens right here. And when the kids, Ariane and Wally, meet the Lady of the Lake, she's in an underwater chamber right in there. They take watery stairs down to find out what she wants them to do, which, as you might guess from the title, is to find the scattered Shards of Excalibur, which they have to do before Merlin can. And in the book, he's the bad guy. In his modern day guise as Rex Major, a computer magnate like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or somebody like that. Elon Musk. Well, Elon is far more than that. Probably more like Steve Jobs than anybody else, I guess, that I was thinking of when I wrote it. And so over the course of the 5 books, they have to find the 5 pieces of Excalibur, and sometimes they get it, and sometimes Merlin gets it. And it all comes down, as you might guess, to the final book. And whoever gets the final piece wins. Merlin will use the sword to take over the world and his own world of fairy. And the kids are trying to stop him. So, probably not a spoiler to say that they succeed. And the sword is reforged. Reforges itself, actually. And then at the end, they throw it out into Wascana Lake. So Excalibur, according to my book, and you got to believe it because it's in a book, Excalibur is at the bottom of Wascana Lake on the east side of Willow Park, Willow Island. Willow Park is a wine store. It's not there. We'll get a better look at its final resting place when I get past these bushes here. So the university building, the college building is over there with the conservatory in it that I've pointed out a few times. And Dark Hall, where I was in Beauty and the Beast about a month ago now. No, closer to 2 months now. My, how time flies. There's been a whole other show put on since then, Mamma Mia, but we didn't get to it. Heard it was good though. That was summer stage. Well, this will have been a good hour by the time I get back, for sure. I think there's rowers out here. I saw some. What did I see? I don't know. Anyway, Excalibur is right over there in the water, just this side of Willow Island. So bring your diving gear, see if you can find it. You won't, because it's magically protected. Only the lady of the lake, Marianne Forsyth, who, based on when I wrote the book, let's say when it was published the second time, she was 15, and she is now 25, so she's older than my daughter. But of course, because she's in a book, she will always be a teenager. Molly is 14 when she meets him, and he turns 15 over the course of their adventures. Which don't really take all that long a time. Well, I guess there's about 6 months. Do I have her turn 16 and he turns 15? I don't remember. I remember when I decided her birthday is. But
Mummy movies?
The action takes place over about 6 months, actually, November to spring the following year, which is a fairly short time for 5 books, but I've done shorter. My Massive Agreement trilogy only happens over a very short period of time. So Mara, who's 15, remains 15. And then there's the City Born. Those young people are 20. But it happens over a weekend, basically, 3 days. There's the gazebo. I have performed in and seen other people perform in over the years. I was even at a wedding there once. I have to plug in my microphone for sure after this walk. Non-powered scooter. There's the other aeration fountain, a little shorter than the one over by Broad Street. I'm quite surprised nobody has said hello today on the walk, but that's okay. People are busy. Hard to believe. They might have better things to do than watch me walk around Wascana Lake, but there you go. Buffering may have caused some people to drop off too. That's why I'm going to post the recorded version of this today instead of just the buffering version, the live version. I'll take this path up, I think, today. Since I can't go under the bridge, I have to go up here anyway. This will take us through Speaker's Corner. Monument to free speech, which is under attack everywhere from left-wing governments around the world. And really right-wing governments too. Governments in general have a problem with free speech if it allows people to say bad things about them or things they disagree with, which is why, of course, it is the most important human right. Far better to have people say horrible things freely than to not allow people to say anything freely. So, Speaker's Corner. Which I'm pretty sure had a statue of Queen Victoria once that they took down, speaking of bad government decisions and attacks on free speech. All right, we will cross here. Always the longest wait, this corner. Here we go. Nineteenth and Albert. Oof. Always point out that house. I really like the looks of it. Ooh, never been in it, but I know who lives there. The oof was forgetting there was a driveway there that I stepped down into. Oh, a lot of vehicles down there for some reason. That's a dead end. Another house I like the looks of. Have not been in. Aha, that time I remembered the driveway. Well, I'm certainly not sweating as much as I would have been the last couple of days. Cooler air does make a difference. Still, warm enough, and it'll be plenty warm this afternoon, so that's why I wanted to get this done this morning. I still need to mow the grass, but I think I'll do that hopefully tomorrow morning when it's cool. Finally, should have done it 2 weeks ago. Okay, Angus Boulevard, which connects to Angus Crescent. Well, not quite, but almost. Through the alley it does. Which connects to Angus Street. So Angus Street continues on the other side of the creek. So Mr. Angus, whoever he was, got a lot of recognition. Probably a city councilor or something. They got their names a lot on the early streets. Mayors and such. I like that one too, with the awning. All these houses, or most of them, would have had awnings. Ours did originally. Sometimes I think it'd be cool to put it back on. I'm sure somebody would know how to do it. And flower boxes. They mostly had flower boxes, and a lot of them were taken off at some point when, I don't know, they became no longer fashionable. But I like the ones that still have them. And I kind of wish we had that back on the front of the house too. So after we get the back of the house done up, we got to paint the house, we got to landscape. So still lots to do. And then I'll be 80 and I'll enjoy it for a year. And hopefully it doesn't take that long. It still feels like it. How long it's going to take. Considering how long our little extension has taken, as we're now well past the 2-year mark of when it all started. We got the deck built, but we only got steps put on it this week. The extension has finally been drywalled, and plumbing and electricity is in, so it's getting close to the finishing touches. Cabinetry has to go in, plumbing, painting, all that, lights, but it's coming. There's some eavesdropping to do. I have to get the eaves trough on our garage replaced too. Probably should have re-roofed the garage, but we decided it could wait. We've got northern tree coming sometime soon to trim up a bunch of overgrown plants. Owning a house, there's always stuff that you can do, especially in an old house. And ours is coming up on 100 years old, so it's pretty old. Okay, we'll stop here. That's it for today, an hour. Thanks for walking with me. Bye for now.